نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يعيننا وإياكم على التخلق بأخلاق المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله أجمعين. That's a big dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us and assist us to become imbibed with the character of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
التي أثنى عليها الحق سبحانه وتعالى أثنى عليه سبحانه وتعالى بها.
And it is that character which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised Himself.
وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم. صلى الله عليه وسلم.
The verse in the Quran where Allah addresses the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam by saying, and indeed you are on an exalted station of character.
وعموم الناس فضلا عن المؤمنين والمسلمين عموم الناس إنما إنسانيتهم بأخلاقهم وإنما الأمم الأخلاق ما بقيت فإنهم ذهبت أخلاقهم ذهبوا.
Generally, people are known by their characters, and people of a particular age or generation are known for the characteristic traits that they have. Once they are gone in those characters or those characteristic traits, go with them.
إنسان بدون أخلاق حقيقة كجسم بدون روح.
A person without character is like a body without a soul.
نسأل الله أن يعيننا على ذلك.
We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to assist us in having good character.
ويكفينا قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن أثقل ما يكون في ميزان العبد يوم القيامة الخلق والحسن.
The saying of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is sufficient for us in his statement that the weightiest thing on the day of Qiyamah in the scale of deeds will be good character.
ثم إن قضية التخلق بالأخلاق الكريمة وضدها والعياذ بالله هذه غالبا في يد الإنسان. الله سبحانه وتعالى جعل في يد الإنسان أن يقدر يتخلق بالأخلاق الكريمة الطيبة أو ضد ذلك.
The ability to have a good character or not to have a good character, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed this in the hands of a human being.
بمعنى أنها قابلة للتغير.
Meaning that a person or a person's character has the ability to change.
يعني جبلة الإنسان وطبيعته قابلة لأن تتخلق بالأخلاق الطيبة وضد ذلك.
Meaning that the natural disposition of a human being is capable of either having good character or bad character.
وكذا من يقول أنا طبيعتي هكذا لا أقدر أغيرها.
And the person who says that this is my nature, I cannot change, this person is lying.
وما أرسل الله الرسل إلى الأمة إلى البشر إلا ليغيروا طباعهم للسنة.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not send the messengers to people except that they were meant to change people's characters and to change their course of action.
وإنما غالبا ميولها إلى الشر. غالبا ما دامت النفس البشرية لم تتزكى ولم تتطهر غالبا ميولها إلى الشر.
And generally, the natural disposition of the human being leans towards evil, especially if it has not undergone spiritual training.
ولكن إذا جاهد الإنسان نفسه يقدر يغلب نفسه. هذه نعمة كبيرة.
However, if a person strives against their soul, if they strive against their ego, then they are able to then overpower it.
والنفس من غريب بطبعها والجميل بطبعها أنها إذا عودت على شيء تتعود عليه.
And the amazing thing, and at the same time the beautiful thing about the ego or the nafs is that once it becomes accustomed to something, it finds it easy to do.
لا إله إلا حتى ولو كان في بدايته ظالما أو مجرما والعياذ بالله أو ذاهبا يميل الشهوات، لكن إذا زج في محل أهل الأخلاق الحسنة ولم ينظر إلا إليهم ولم ينظر إلا إلى أفعالهم وأقوالهم تتغير.
A person might be an oppressor or a tyrant or someone given to carnal desires, but if they are being thrown into the midst of people who are of good character and they spend their time with them and focus only on their actions and does not look left and right, they will then find it easy to become accustomed to performing actions representative of good character.
كانت الاتباع لا تتغير لفترة المواعظ. ما في داعي من الموعظة، ما في داعي من الوصية، ما في داعي من التذكير، ما في داعي من النصح. الإنسان تضع هكذا ما بيتغير. لكن لما لما أن الطبع يتغير أوجب الله علينا واستلزم لنا في بعض الأوقات النصح والتوجيه والوعظ والإرشاد لأجل تأثر الناس.
And if it wasn't possible for a person's character to change, then the purpose of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending messengers and sending advices and exhortations would be nullified. And it is only because the character can change that a person benefits from advice and from direction and seeking counsel.
والحديث صلى الله عليه وسلم كما ذكر في البداية يقول قال إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق صلى الله عليه وسلم.
We mentioned earlier that the Prophet ﷺ had said that I have not been sent except to perfect good moral character.
فمثلا ذكرنا هنا الغضب والشهوة هي متطبعة في جبلة الإنسان.
An example of this is anger and carnal desires. These are predisposed in the nature of a human being.
وكما ذكرنا إنسان بدون غضب وإنسان بدون شهوة هذا مريض ناقص.
A person who does not have any anger or does not have any carnal desires, and this person is sick and deficient.
ولكن إلى الخير كله في أن يكون الغضب على وفق ما جاء به النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وكذلك سير الشهوة على وفق شريعة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And all goodness lies in that a person's anger is according to what the Prophet ﷺ brought, and likewise their desires are in accordance to the Sharia which the Prophet ﷺ brought.
وإذا ضعف المريض وإذا زادت مصيبته.
And so if one is deficient in them, one becomes sick. And if one goes into excess, then this is also a problem.
فبالرياضة وبمخالفة النفس تتلون النفس.
And by striving and training oneself and constantly suppressing one's caprice, then the carnal desires and the anger come into moderation.
قال والجبلات يعني طبائع الناس تختلف في قبول التأثير والتغيير لاختلاف قوة الغريزة في أصل الجبلات تختلف. هذا يقبل بسرعة وهذا يحتاج زيادة وهذا يحتاج تعب شديد في إزالة في تقويم شهوته وتقويم غضبه إلى غير ذلك.
People's temperaments differ with regards to their receiving and accepting of advice and exhortation. Some people might change with a short space of time, and others might need a longer period of time before they can control their anger, before they can control their desires.
والإنسان الذي قال ما يميز بين شو اسمه القبيح والحسن والباطل هذا بسيط يتأثر لكن اللي يميز يعرف الباطل ولكنه يحبه ويعرف القرار ولكن يحبها هذا تغيير طبعه صعب قليل.
A person who knows the difference between truth and falsehood and what is good and bad, and he's striving to change himself because he knows that each of this is good and bad, then this person is easy to change. However, a person who knows that good is good and bad is bad, but he loves performing the bad, then this person will be more difficult to change.
أما إذا رسخت في ذهن بعض الناس أن الأفعال لا سمح الله القبيحة هذه هي ينبغي الإنسان أن يكون كذا، يكون غضب سريع الغضب ولا ينقهر لأحد ويعطي نفسه ما تريد، فهذا صعب تغيير هذا.
However, if a person due to in their mind they believe that certain despicable traits are actually praiseworthy, for example, they should just have whatever they want to, or it is not becoming for a person to suppress their anger, and they believe that these despicable traits are praiseworthy, then this is the most difficult person to change. This person requires corporal punishment, he requires a stick, like how Sayyidina Umar would carry a stick around.
مثل بعض الأمراض ما تحتاج إلى دواء، تحتاج إلى عملية قطع عملية حتى لو ما يريد صاحبها أعطوا بنج وخلتوخه واعمل العملية وأنت تمام لأجل مصلحة.
Just like some certain forms of diseases or wounds, there is no amount of medicine that will help. The limb needs to be cut off, whether the person likes it or not. The limb needs to be severed. And if the person doesn't want to, you'll still put them, give them some medicine to make them unconscious and sever the limb against their own will.
فهذه أمراض جسدية وهذه أمراض قلبية وروحية.
And this is with regards to the physical ailments, but what then about the spiritual ailments?
إذا استفحلت هذا أصبح العلاج صعب جدا ويحتاج إلى علاج طويل. ومثل هذه إذا استفحلت في الإنسان صعب إزالتها ويحتاج إلى علاج قوي.
Likewise, if a person delays in curing or taking the right medicine for a certain sickness that they have, and this medicine is delayed, it reaches a point where the lump needs to be severed, and there is a very, very strong form of preventative measures that need to come into play. Likewise, with a person's soul, if they are delayed in treating their spiritual diseases, very strong preventative measures will then be required for them to come or to cut those diseases out.
ومن أصعب الأخلاق الأخلاق الغير طيبة إزالة أن يتربى الإنسان على السوء.
And the most difficult temperaments to change are the temperaments of people who have been brought up from a young age and they've been trained to have certain bad characteristic traits.
وكما ذكر الإمام في أول بداية الكلام عن الأخلاق ليس معنى أن الإنسان يعالج الغضب بأن يزيل الغضب أو يعالج الشهوة بأن يزيل، هذا مستحيل، وإنما كما ذكرنا يدون ذلك على وفق آداب النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And as Imam Ghazali mentioned in the beginning of the chapter, the goal is not that a person completely gets rid of anger or completely gets rid of desires. However, a person needs to bring them in complete moderation according to the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ.
ولو ذهب من الإنسان الغضب بأكمله لبطل الجهاد غير جاهد.
If a person got rid of anger completely from themselves, then jihad and striving in the path of Allah will be nullified. They will not need to get angry about it.
ولذلك الله تعالى في مسلم قال والكاظمين الغيظ الذين الغير موجود لكن يمسكون الكاظم كاظم الصوت يعني يكون موجود، فقال المعدومين الغيظ لا موجود الغيظ في قلوبهم ثور لكن يمسكها بدماء الشريعة، يمسكها بديانة الشريعة.
When Allah describes His elect servants in the Quran, He describes them as those who suppress anger. Allah does not describe them as people who are void of anger. Means they have anger, but they control it with the reins of the Sharia.
لذلك ذكروا لنا أن عنه صلى الله عليه وسلم في بعض الأحاديث أن الإنسان إذا غضب غضبا يستطيع أن ينفذه في مملوك في إنسان في أي واحد يستطيع ينفذ الغضب، فملك نفسه ولم ينفذ ذلك قال له أجر كبير عند الله.
It comes in some traditions that a person who has been angered and he has the ability to vent that anger against, for example, someone that they own, a slave, or any person for that matter, they have the ability to vent that anger, but they suppress it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a great reward that has been promised for such a person.
إذن المقصود رد الغضب والشهوة إلى حد الاعتدال.
And so the purpose is to bring desires and anger into moderation.
قال تعالى والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes these people in the Quran that those who when they spend they do not go to extremes nor are they deficient, but they tread a middle path.
فليسوا مبذرين وليسوا بخلاء.
So they are not spendthrifts nor are they stingy.
البخل والتبذير ليست من صفات المؤمنين.
And being extravagant and being stingy are not qualities of a believer.
حتى في الأكل قال تعالى وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا.
And this goes for eating as well. In the Quran, Allah says, eat and drink, but do not be wasteful.
أما من يعطي نفسه هواه حتى في الأكل هذا يأتي إليه مرض سريع.
And those who just follow their passions and desires in everything and also in eating, this person will become sickly very quickly.
يعطي نفسه ما يشتهي.
Person who gives his ego and his self whatever it wants.
ويأكل كثيرا إلى حد الامتلاء.
And
الشبع
this person eats excessively until they are satiated and full.
فنتيجته قساوة القلب والمرض الجسدي.
The result of this will be a hard heart and physical ailments which will then afflict this person.
فليحذر الإنسان من الشبع.
So a person should be wary of satiating themselves completely.
وليحذر أن يعطي نفسه كل ما تشتهي وما قدر باله يعني. وإن كان يستطيع، أيوة وإن كان يستطيع، أما إذا ما يستطيع ما يقدر.
And the person should be wary of giving their ego or their soul or their nafs everything that it desires, everything that it sees it wants. Even though this person is able to own that or able to achieve that, he has to stop himself and control himself. Because if he wasn't able to achieve it, then there's no point in staying away from
حتى
it.
جاء في بعض الأخبار أنه من دخل السوق وهو يقدر يشتهي وهو اشتهى شيئا وهو يقدر يأخذه ولكن دهر نفسه يحصل أجر كبير.
There's also a tradition of a person who enters the marketplace and sees something that they desire, but however they overpower their ego and they prevent themselves from buying this. There is a reward that is been promised for such a person.
سمعتم؟
Have you all heard?
فهمتم؟
Have you understood?
هيا افهم سوا افهم سوا.
You see, listen carefully to what he's saying and understand what he's saying.
تكلمنا على أن لا تعطي النفس هواها.
We are speaking about not giving one's ego its desires and its purposes.
وقهر النفس.
Overpowering one's ego.
ولا تشبع.
And to not eat until you are completely
ولا
full.
تعطي نفسك ما تريد.
And to not give yourself everything that it wants.
فهم؟
To understand.
فهم؟
Doesn't think you're...
اسمع هذا أنت بنفسك ها؟ لا تكلف غيرك عليه.
What you're saying is just...
تلقي مشاكل مع زوجتك وابنك عشان ما يريدون لكن أنت لا تعطي نفسك ما تريد.
Habib is saying, when you listen to these words, you let the words fall on yourself, and we each take ourselves to account. We don't listen to these words and take those around us to account. For example, the person might then use these words against his wife and say, you guys don't have whatever you want, but he allows himself to have whatever he wants.
وأعطي الضيوف ما يريدون.
And give the guests whatever they want.
ممكن تراقبهم بس تراقبهم قليل لا تقهرهم.
Since you're able to be nice and give everything to the guests, but one should withhold from themselves.
ولا تخرجهم.
And don't cause the guests difficulty.
جو عندك ضيوف ما شاء الله وقدمت في الأكل إيه انتبهوا من الشبع.
He says, guests come to the house and you give them a plate of food, but you tell them, hey, don't eat too much. Don't satiate yourself.
الشبع هذا خطير.
There's danger in satiating yourselves.
هذا ما يحبه الله ولا رسوله.
Otherwise, the Prophet does not love one to eat first.
ولماذا قدمت لك هذا؟ كم أكلك وقت كم أكلك.
What was the use of putting food in front of them if you didn't want them to eat?
فإنما راقبهم في الأكل فضلوا على أكل طيب إن شاء الله يعينكم على القوة على الطاعة والعبادة.
Another person gives guests food to eat, and gives them the best of what he wants, and he encourages them to eat and says there is benefit and health in eating to one's desire.
راقبهم أن يأكلوا.
And one should encourage one's guests to eat as much as they want.
وأن يكونوا يتقووا على الطاعة بهذا الأكل إن شاء الله.
And encourage them and tell them that when one eats, one gets energy so that they are able to then worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
ولكن أنت تقهر نفسك.
However, you yourself, you should suppress yourself.
أتعب نفسك. كلف نفسك لا
Tire your own self and take yourself to lengths to prevent it from getting what it wants.
قال الله تعالى لا تكلفوا إلا نفسك وحرض الموت حرض.
In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the Prophet do not take lengths with others besides yourself and warn or encourage the others.
قال السبب الذي به ينال حسن الخلق. ما هو السبب الذي ينال بحسن الخلق؟
Then we are going to speak about the causes through which one is able to attain good character.
إما بجود إلهي نظرة من الحق سبحانه وتعالى وحسنت أخلاق ذلك الشخص.
This is through the divine outpouring and the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one type, in that it is only due to Allah that one has good character and one is able to have this good character.
أو إنسان منذ خلق جبله الله سبحانه وتعالى وجعل طبعه أي ما يميل إلى الشر ولا إلى الشهوة ولا شيء في موجود أفراد.
And then there are people who from the day they were born, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed their dispositions to naturally incline towards good and they do not incline towards evil or to anger or to desires.
كلها من الله إلا هذه آنية وهذه من قبل ما يخلق ما شاء الله.
They are all from, or these are all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, some people have them from a young age and others have it from before they were even born.
والوجه الثاني اكتساب هذه السمة يكلف نفسه على أن يتخلق بها.
The next step is that a person strives to earn and to achieve this good character.
يكلف نفسه مثلا يريد يكون جواد كريم يكلف نفسه على الإنفاق والإنفاق حتى هو صعب عليه يكلف نفسه حتى تصبر على ذلك.
A person strives against themselves, for example, to become generous, even though they might not want to spend. However, they force themselves to start spending as much as they can.
كما ذكرنا أن النفس وإن كانت طبعها غير طيب لكن إذا عودت على الطبع الطيب تتعود عليه.
And as we mentioned, that the nafs has the disposition that if you make it accustomed to something, it becomes the norm.
ومثل التواضع.
Likewise, humility.
يحاول الإنسان يكلف نفسه على أن يتواضع وأن يتذلل وهكذا حتى يصبح طبعا.
Such persons should strive and go out of their way to want to be humble and lowly until it then becomes second nature to them.
الحضور في الصلاة.
Likewise, having presence of heart in salah.
يكلف نفسه.
Person should struggle and strive.
حتى البكاء.
Even crying.
يقول النبي لم تبكوا فتباكوا. أبكي على أنك لم تبكي حاول حتى تصنع البكاء أولا حتى يصبح بعد ذلك حقيقة إن شاء الله.
Prophet said, if you cannot cry, then force yourselves to cry. And so one should force himself to cry. And if they're not able to cry, they should cry because of their inability to cry.
ولو جاء حتى في ملأ من الناس ابكي لا يضره بل يقول هيه أفضل بعدين في الخلوة مع الناس مستيف هذا. أيوة نعم صحيح. لكن بعدين في الخلوة ما عاد يلاقي الخلوة لا حسن الآن ابكي.
Even if a person is in a crowd or in a gathering, if they feel that they want to cry, they should cry. And they shouldn't worry about someone coming and telling them that, hey, what are you doing crying in front of people? This crying is meant for seclusion. And this person, if he doesn't cry in public, he doesn't have seclusion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's not going to be crying at all. So it's better you just cry when the feeling comes out.
حتى العبادات ما تؤثر في القلوب وتنقيها وتصفيها إلا إذا واظب الإنسان عليها.
Likewise, the different forms of ibadah and worship, it does not have an effect on the heart unless a person is constant and regular in those forms of ibadah.
وغالبا إذا تعود الإنسان نفسه على الأمور يكون اسمه تظهر ثمرتها خصوصا إذا واظب على ذلك 40 يوم أو أكثر.
And if a person is regular on a particular action, then the effects of that action become manifest, especially if a person is able to be regular on that for 40 days or more.
وإذا مر على الإنسان مرت عليه 40 يوم واظب على شيء معين حتى على عمل دنيوي غالبا يستمر فيه. وإذا هو 40 يوم ما قدر على ما ينفع.
And if a person is habitual and is able to be constant in doing an action for 40 days, even if that was a worldly action, generally 40 days will not pass, except that this person will then have achieved this habit. However, if one does not reach 40 days, then there will be no benefit in this action.
مواظب على أنه لا ينام بعد الفجر أبدا 40 يوم مستمرة غالبا خلاص يتعود على ذلك طبيعة في الإنسان يفرح بذلك.
For example, a person he starts wanting to not sleep, he starts to stay awake after Salat al-Fajr, and he forces himself to stay awake for 40 days. After 40 days, this will become second nature to this person.
وغاية الأخلاق وأعلاها هو أن لا يكون الإنسان محبا للدنيا.
The highest form of character is that the person does not love the dunya.
والدنيا المذمومة هي كما ذكرنا مرات كثيرة هي كل ما يقطعك عن الله من مال أو ولد أو فكر أو عمل أو صديق أو يقطعك عن الله هذا من الدنيا المذمومة.
And what is regarded as being from the dunya or the despicable aspects of the dunya is everything that cuts you off from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it be wealth, family or anything at all.
من مال
Whether it's
أو
wealth,
عيال
family,
أو صديق
friends,
أو كلام
speech,
أو فكر
thoughts,
أو قراءة
reading,
أي شيء يؤدي إلى الانقطاع عن الله هو من الدنيا المذمومة.
anything that cuts you off from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is regarded as the despicable things of the
وإن
dunya,
كان هو من الدنيا
even though this is from the dunya itself.
وإن كان من الدنيا ويقربك إلى الله فهو من الدنيا المحمودة وإن كان هو من أصل الدنيا كمال أو غيره.
However, if there are things of the dunya which connect you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then these are of the praiseworthy things of the dunya, even though they are of the dunya or they might be of wealth or family.
المسألة مربوطة بالنية
And so the affair rests on your intention
والمقصد.
and your objective.
ما مقصدك وما نيتك
What is your goal and what is your intention
في طلبك العلم،
in seeking knowledge,
في طلبك المال،
in seeking wealth,
في طلبك الزواج،
in
في
seeking
طلبك
marriage,
الأولاد،
in seeking children,
في سفرك،
in traveling,
في كل شيء.
in everything.
إن كان شيء يقربك إلى الله فهو من الدنيا المحمودة.
If it is something which takes you in proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this is of the praiseworthy things of this dunya.
قال فإذا عرفت أن الأخلاق قد تكون من الله هبة وقد تكون مكتسبة، قال ترى بالأفعال الجميلة وترى قال فإذا مجالسة أصحاب الأخلاق الحسنة تؤثر في الإنسان إلى أن يتخرج بالأخلاق الحسنة، ومجالسة أصحاب الأخلاق السيئة والعياذ بالله تؤثر في الإنسان أن يكون مثله.
And if we know that there are two types of characters, one that is a natural gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the other that one strives for, we then know that if one spends time in the company of people with good character, they will then become accustomed to having that good character. If they spend time in the company of people with evil character, they will become likewise.
وغالبا نفس الإنسان تميل إلى ما تربى عليه.
Generally, a person will be attuned to what they have been brought up on.
من تربت نفسه على الخير فيميل إلى أصحاب الخير وإن لم يعرفهم.
The person has been brought up on goodness. His natural disposition will lean towards people of goodness, even though he might not know them.
تربى على المحبة.
The person who has been brought up on love and peace
والخدمة
and service
والتعظيم
and veneration
والاحترام
and respect
واستصغار النفس
and being humble
وحسن الظن
and having a good opinion of
يميل
others.
قلبه إلى من تلك صفاته.
This person will naturally lean towards others who have these qualities in them.
ومن تربى على الشدة
The person has been brought up
وعلى
on
الغضب
anger,
وعلى التكفير
strictness, and calling other people
بدعة
non-Muslims and innovators,
مخالفة
people who are against the
استحقار
path,
الناس
despising people,
وعلى التكبر
on pride.
وعلى يميل إلى من طبعه ذلك.
This person will lean towards people who have these qualities.
لذلك يقولون لو دخل شخص صاحب نفس طيبة وعند أناس آلاف ما يعرفهم وتصفى وجوههم تميل نفسه يجلس عند الناس الطيبين من غير ما يشعر. ولو صاحب بدعة وقذارة دخل إلى جمع كبير وهم لا يعرفهم ثم أراد أن يجلس وتصفى وجوههم لمالت نفسه إلى من طبعهم من غير ما يشعر.
For this reason they say that if a person comes to a gathering, a person of a good character and good disposition comes to a gathering of thousands of people and he does not know them, nor do they know him. And he starts looking around for a place to sit, his nature will lean towards people who are of a like nature and good character like him. And if a person came who was a tyrant or an oppressor or bad character, and he came to such a gathering and he starts looking where to sit, his nature will naturally lean towards people who have a similar nature like him.
فلا بد أن يعالج الإنسان بأسلوب طبعه كما يعالج مرضه.
And so
هذا مرض القلب.
it is necessary for a person to treat their spiritual diseases as they treat their physical disease.
وإن وجد الطبيب الخبير بهذه الأمراض فيرمي نفسه أمامه كما يرمي نفسه أمام الطبيب والدكتور الذي يعالج الجسد.
Just as a person, if he has a physical ailment, he puts his trust in handing himself over to a doctor who can treat him for those diseases. Likewise, with the spiritual diseases, if one finds an experienced and well-versed practitioner who can cure him of his spiritual diseases, he should hand himself over to such a person.
فلماذا عند الطبيب والدكتور الجسدي هذا ترمي نفسك وتشكره على ما يريد يفعله؟ يتفضل ولو حتى لم تصبر أنت مستعد، اعطني بنج ودوخني واعمل ما تريد. والله أكبر من أجل جسم الجسد. وكيف بطبيب القلوب وطبيب الإيمان وطبيب الأرواح؟
And how can we be happy to give our bodies to a physical doctor and we tell him do anything that you want to do, whether it's inject me or give me this sort of medication for the curing of our physical ailments? What then shouldn't we be doing for our spiritual ailments?
فمن باب أولى طبيب القلوب وطبيب الأرواح.
And it is more apt that we pay more attention to the doctors of the hearts and the doctors of the souls.
بل غالبا هنا الثقة أضمن والطمأنينة إلى أضمن وأوثق ويخاف الله.
And here a person ought to be more content in handing their affairs over to such a spiritual physician because they have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
ولكن كما يوجد في طب الأجساد أطباء كذابين ومصلحيين، كذلك يوجد في أطباء القلوب كذلك يحتاج إلى انتباه. في هذا الزمن المتأخر.
In these end of times, like we find doctors who are imposters or who just pose as physical doctors even though they don't have the qualifications. Likewise, we will find people who pose as spiritual doctors and they are not qualified. Therefore, a person needs to be on guard.
إذا وجدت مثل هذه المستشفى الكبير كريم والأطباء الموجودين عندهم تعالى يعني يطمئن الإنسان ويرمي نفسه والسلام.
However, if a person finds a very expensive hospital like Tareem and a perfect practitioner like Habib, then such a person should throw themselves at their feet and be completely content.
وما جمع الله الذنوب عليه إلا لأنه وارث من وراث الحبيب صلى الله عليه وسلم ومن خلفاء الحق في أرضه.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not caused people's hearts to unite on Habib Umar except that because he is the complete inheritor of the Prophet and he is one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's life students on this earth.
غالبا من يأتي إلى هذا المكان ليس مقصده العلم فقط أو التأدب فقط بل يقصد ذلك الشخص الخصوص.
And generally, people that come to Tareem, they don't only come for seeking knowledge or they don't only come to attain good character. Many of them, they come particularly and only because of Habib Umar.
فرؤيته تنور القلوب.
Merely gazing upon him illuminates the heart.
ومجالسته تنور القلوب وتزيد الإيمان.
Spending time in his company illuminates the heart and increases one in faith.
مجالسة أو النظر فقط.
This is just sitting in his company and gazing upon his face.
حتى تذكر لما يخطر ببالك يتوب الإنسان ويهوب ويخضع بذكر اسمه فقط وما.
And by merely mentioning his name or thinking about him, one then feels remorseful and regretful about this.
فكيف إذا نظره؟
How then, if Habib Umar himself looks and gazes upon him, or speaks,
أو نصح
or gives advice,
أو اختصك بجلسة خاصة،
or gives you a special sitting,
أو أكلت من أكله،
or you are able to eat from his food
أو من يده،
or from his hand.
هذا شيء لا يعبر أبدا.
This is something that cannot be described.
هكذا كان الصحابة
This is
يتبعون في النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
This is how the Sahaba treated the Prophet ﷺ.
كانوا يتعشقون ذاته الشريف. يتعشقون ذاته الشريف.
They used to, the Sahaba desired the physical presence of the Prophet ﷺ.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما وعلى سائر الأنبياء والمرسلين لا يوثق يمكن اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آتي سيدنا محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة وشرف وجل العالم جميعا بعثه من دار محمد الدعاء إنك لا تقول من آل يا أرحم الراحمين. رب اغفر لي والدي 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 ارحمه وارحمه طيبا. اللهم انا نسالك العفو والعافيه والدار في الدين والدنيا والاخره. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد الحمد لله رب العالمين. ما شاء الله هذه قليله وهذه كبيره.
These 2 hours that I read after the Adhan, which says they are short words, but the rewards are immense.
أبو العزيز من قال إذا سمع المؤذن قال الله أكبر مرحبا بالصلاة بالقائم عدن ومرحبا بالصلاة أهلا وسهلا رضيت بالله ربا بسلام دينا بسم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا إلا غفر له.
Comes in certain traditions that a person when they hear the Adhan being called at the beginning and they say these words, welcome to the Adhan and welcome to the people of Salah. We are pleased to have Allah as the Lord, the Prophet ﷺ as a messenger, Islam is our religion, and all of this person's sins will be forgiven.
أقوال بسيطة ولا أجر كبير.
Small words but great rewards.
قلنا فإذا عرف الإنسان شيء من أخلاقه أنه طيب ينبغي له أن يعالج نفسه بذلك.
So if a person becomes aware of them having some traits of character which are not praiseworthy, then they need to treat themselves.
عرف مثلا أنه سريع الغضب.
So if a person realizes he is quick to anger,
ويحاول كان بعضهم هكذا لما عرف نفسه سريع الغضب يستأجر واحد بفلوس يقول تعال لما أكون بين السوق أنا وشتم من السوق وشتم حتى أحاول أتهب نفسي.
Some of them, when they realized that they were quick to anger, they used to hire someone and tell this person, whenever you see me in the streets, then swear me and mention to me bad words so that I can then become accustomed to having patience.
فكما أن الطبيب الجسدي هذا يعطيك بعض التمارين وبعض العلاجات وبعض الممنوعات، ممنوع أكل فلان، ممنوع أكل كذا، ممنوع شرب كذا، إلا في السعود لا إله إلا الله ورقة كبيرة عريضة. كذلك كلها تخالف ما تريده نفسك وتكره نفسك على ذلك، بل حتى ممكن أحيانا إذا ما قدرت في نفسك أنت تكلف أحد من أولادك هتكلفني أن لا آكل هذا، لا تعطيني هذا. فكذلك في الأمور القلبية والروحية هكذا.
Regards to physical ailments, the doctor might prescribe a certain course of action that you do this, or you don't do that, you don't eat certain types of food, and the doctor might even prevent you and forbid you from eating certain types of food. To such an extent that you might even tell your children, listen, don't bring this in front of me. I'm not allowed to eat this. And so a person will overpower themselves to stay away from that which they want. Likewise with the spiritual diseases.
لابد أن تكلف نفسك وتقهرها على أن تتخلق بأخلاق الحبيب صلى الله عليه وسلم.
So a person must force themselves and strive against their ego until one is able to attain the character of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم.
والحمد لله نفسية الإنسان ليست كنفسية البهائم.
And alhamdulillah, the nature of a human being is not like the nature of the animals.
وفوق ذلك أعطى الله سبحانه وتعالى البهائم شيء في ما تفكر شيء يميل إلى تعرف الطيب وغير الطيب. سبحان الله. وهي بهيمة لا تعقل.
Even though the animals are unable to comprehend, however, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them the ability to differentiate between people of good and bad dispositions.
هل بدا حتى كرمكم الله كلب رمى نفسه من جهة الجبل وإلا دخل وسط النار والله حيوان.
Have you ever seen a dog throwing itself off the mountain or throwing itself into the fire?
وهم يعرف أن هذا ما قد حرقته النار ولا قد رمى بنفسه والنجاة بعد ذلك يتوب. لا ما قد يعرف أن هذا سيد شوف كيف.
So the dog does not have an intellect and does not know that the fire will burn. However, Allah has allowed this animal to differentiate between what will benefit it and what will harm it.
بل عنده ربك وضع فيه إحساس يعني بالشيء من بعد.
Allah has put it into the animals that they have a certain sense of knowing things even though they might be at a distance.
هذه بهيمة لا تعقل وليست مكلفة.
And so this is an animal that does not understand and is also not accountable.
أعطاها الله خصائص كثيرة.
Allah has given these animals certain distinguishing features.
فكيف بمن يعقل ومكلف فالله يعطي أكثر من ذلك كثير.
And so what about a person or a human being who understands and is also accountable? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have even more distinguishing gifts for such a person.
لكن هل يستخدم فكرة وعقله تماما أم لا هنا؟
And does a person use their thoughts and their understanding in the correct manner? This is the issue.
ووضع الله فيه سبحان الله وضع فيه محبة الخير ومحبة الشر.
And so a person, Allah has made a person predisposed to love good and evil.
لكن محبة الشر تغلب عليه لأن الشيطان يجري من ابن آدم مجرى الدم.
However, the love of evil generally overpowers people because the shaitan runs in the veins of human beings like blood.
وهذه أعداء من داخل جسم الإنسان.
And this is an enemy which resides within a human being.
مثل العدو لما يكون في بيتك والعياذ بالله.
Like an enemy that enters your house.
لو كان العدو برا البيت بتقفل البيت بتستعجل وبتنتبه منه، لكن عدو في البيت هذه مشكلة كبيرة.
If the enemy is outside the house, you're going to close the windows, you're going to be on guard. However, if the enemy is already inside your house, this is a big problem.
لكن هذا عدو داخل.
However, this enemy lies inside the body.
الهواء.
A person's desires and preferences, the veins of the ego,
الشهوة.
the desires, the carnal desires, and shaitan.
لكن ما أخبر النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ودلنا على عدو إلا ودلنا على كيفية الانتفاع منه وكيفية النجاة منه. صلى الله عليه
وسلم did not make us aware of any enemy of ours except that he made us aware of how to protect ourselves.
على الإنسان وعلى دينه وعلى قلبه وعلى جسمه دلنا صلى الله عليه وسلم على كيفية العلاج.
So every time the Prophet ﷺ, or any time the Prophet ﷺ made us aware of any dangers or diseases to our hearts or to our bodies or to our religion, At the same time, the Prophet ﷺ gave us the cure for that.
قال وكذلك الإيمان مثلا قال الإيمان دلنا صلى الله عليه وسلم على أن يكون الإنسان قوي الإيمان.
So with regards to faith, the Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to be strong in our faith.
وأن الإيمان يضعف.
And he also mentioned to us that faith can decrease.
ويخلق يعني يكون مثل الثوب الفلك القديم.
And that one's faith can also get worn out.
قال جددوا إيمانكم أكثروا من قول لا إله إلا الله.
And so the Prophet ﷺ said, renew your iman, be abundant in the saying of La ilaha illallah.
نكثر من قول لا إله إلا الله يقوى الإيمان.
And so when one is abundant in saying La ilaha illallah, one's faith is increased.
لا إله إلا الله 12 حرف.
La ilaha illallah contains 12 letters.
محمد رسول الله 12 حرف.
Muhammad Rasulullah also contains 12 letters.
كلهم 24 حرف على عدد ساعات الليل والنهار 24 ساعة.
And together they compose of 24 letters, which equal to the 24 hours in a day.
ومن قالها غفر له ما اكتسبه بتلك الساعة.
And so whoever says La ilaha illallah, Rasulullah, Allah forgives them for all the sins that they did in that hour.
ولذلك كان السلف يكثرون منها ولهم أوراد كبيرة منها.
And many of the pious would be abundant in saying La ilaha illallah. They have special numbers with which they
تسمعون الفقيه أن الفقيه المقدم يقول كل يوم 20,000 لا إله.
So you might have heard that Faqih Muqaddam, his daily litany of saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah was 100,000 times.
عبد الله بن سيد بن طارق كان يقول كل يوم 25,000.
And Habib Abdullah bin Sayyid Tahir, his daily litany was 25,000 times.
25,000 من لا إله إلا الله 25,000 من الله 25,000 من الصلاة على النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
25,000 times of La ilaha illallah, 25,000 times of the name Allah, Allah, and 25,000 times of salutations of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
هذا حتى ولو لم يرى النبي سيراه ينظر إليه.
This person, even though they might not see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, however, the abundance in these adhkar will cause the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to see this person.
وغالبا أن الإنسان إذا عرف الشيء إذا عرف الشيء يحبه، إذا عرفه بالخير يحبه، وإن عرفه بضد ذلك كره، لكن لابد يعرف الشيء.
A person, when he becomes acquainted with something, then if he knows the good in this thing, he begins to love it, and if he knows the evil in it, he despises it.
إذا عرفت الله بالقوة والإنعام والإكرام والعناية والرعاية كيف ما تفعل؟
And so if you become acquainted and you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of being all powerful and His generosity and His favors and His blessings, how then can you not love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
وعرفت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بالرحمة وأنه يحبك وأنه يخاف عليك كيف ما تحب؟
And if you become acquainted with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and know Him as being a source of mercy and that He loves you and that He is concerned about you, how can you not love Him?
بل تحبه وتمتثل أمره.
Instead, the person will fall in love with the Prophet ﷺ and fulfill his commandments.
بل أوجب الله سبحانه وتعالى أن تكون محبتنا له وللنبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم أفضل من سائر من محبة كل شيء.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it incumbent upon us for our love for Him, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for the Prophet ﷺ to supersede our love for anything else besides them.
فإن كان الفرد منا يحب شيئا من هذه الأمور الأبناء أو الآباء عندك هنا أو الأموال أو الإخوان أو الأزواج أو العشيرة أو المساكن أحب إلينا من الله ورسوله فهذا الدليل على ضعف الإيمان إن لم يكن عدم الإيمان والعلم.
And so if a person loves their fathers, their sons, their brothers, their wives, their tribes, their wealth and their business and their homes more than they love Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, then this is an indication of the weakness of their faith, if not an absence of their faith.
بل ينبغي للإنسان إذا كان يميل إلى هذه الأمور أعظم من ميلانه إلى الحق ورسوله فينبغي أن يعالج نفسه
And so if a person
ولا يجلس هكذا.
finds himself leaning towards these things more than the love for Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, then they need to treat themselves and they should not just stand by.
وغالبا على قدر معرفتك بالله سبحانه وتعالى في هذه الحياة تكون نجاتك من غضبه وعقابه يوم القيامة.
According to your recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world, according to that you will be saved from Allah's punishment and His anger on the day of Qiyamah.
ثم يجب على الإنسان أن يكون دائما يعتقد في نفسه الضعف والنقص.
And then a person should always believe in and of himself as being weak and insufficient.
والذلة والمسكنة.
A person should believe himself as being
لله ولرسوله.
humble and lowly.
وللمؤمنين دليل أذلة على المؤمنين.
Towards Allah and the Prophet and the general believers.
ومن أقوى أدلة الإنسان على ضعفه وعلى احتياجه إلى الله دعاءه الله دائما على الضعف.
And the greatest sign of the neediness or the extreme poverty of a human being is the supplication and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Asking is a sign of weakness.
لذلك أوجب الله علينا قراءة الفاتحة في كل صلاة حتى نقول أول تعظيم لله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم.
And for this reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it incumbent upon us to call upon Him and ask Him 5 times in our daily prayers. When we read the Surah Fatiha, the beginning is all praise and veneration and exalting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we make dua humbly and we ask Allah, guide us on the straight path of those whom you have faith.
وغالبا ما يطلب الإنسان شيء إلا هو ذليل.
No person asks for anything except that they are lowly.
لو يطلب شيء وهو متكبر حتى أمر الدنيا وين ما بتعطيه إياه يطلبه متكبر.
If a person asks of something of this dunya from someone and they are proud and arrogant, they will not receive it.
لكن لما يطلب غالبا أن طلب ذلة.
However, generally when we ask for something, we ask with humility and humbleness.
ولذلك ينبغي للمسلمين وخصوصا المتحابين في الله أن يسن الآخر إذا الذلة للآخر حتى يطلب منه فيعطيه قبل أن يطلب منه.
And then the believers amongst themselves, and more so people who love each other for the sake of Allah, they should not allow their fellow brothers or sisters to steep to a lowly level in having to ask their brothers or sisters for something. However, we should, before they even ask, we should be able to give them.
يتأثر لما يطلب صاحبه منه شيء يتأثر من ذلك لأنه مقصر في حق هذا حتى أحوله إلى أن يطلب منه أن يعطيه قبل أن.
A person should be affected if someone comes and asks them because they were not generous before, and their non-generosity with this person forced this person to ask. And so one should be able to give before they are asked.
فكيف هؤلاء بأصدقائك وأحبابك فكيف بمن أنت ولي أمرهم ينبغي لك أن تعطيهم ولا تحوجهم.
This is with your friends and your companions. What then about those whom you are in control of, your wife and family, for example? You should be able to give them without them having to ask you.
ويتحسس منهم من حاجتهم.
And a person should be sensitive to their needs.
يتفقدهم دائما.
And should ask them and find out what is it that they need.
وبهذا التفقد عبودية لله تعالى.
And this asking and seeking to find out what they need is also a form of worship.
وعبادة لله.
And it is obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
ومن أعظم العبادات.
And it is of the greatest forms of worship.
أعظم من كثير من الأذكار والصلوات.
Greater than many forms of salah and different forms of adhkar.
أن تنتبه من أصحابك وأحبابك من أنت وليهم.
And that you pay attention to your friends and your companions, and especially people whom you have control over.
ولكن هذا كله إذا عرفت الله وعرفت الرسول وما يريدوه منك.
This is if you know Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, and you know what is it that they want from you.
فينبغي لك كذلك أن تتطلب الطريق التي بها تعرف عيوبك.
And someone needs to become acquainted with the path through which they will become aware of their faults.
لأنه ما تقدر حتى الطبيب العاقل ما يقدر يعالج المرض إلا إذا عرف المرض. إذا ما عرف المرض بدل يجرب عليك يجرب
Likewise, a doctor cannot cure a disease unless the doctor is aware of exactly what the disease is. If the doctor does not know the disease, he can experiment with a certain type of cure and continue experimenting until he might end up killing the person.
لكن إذا عرف المرض سهل العلاج.
If the disease is known and diagnosed, then the cure becomes easy.
وكثير من الناس الله سبحانه وتعالى يبصرهم بعيوب أنفسهم.
Many people, Allah Himself makes them aware of the defaults or the faults of their own souls.
ولكن الذين ما يحبهم الله
Those whom Allah does not love,
يعرفون عيوب الناس ولا يعرفون عيوبهم.
They become wary and aware of other people's faults, but they are not aware of their own faults.
ويتتبعون عورات الناس ولا ينظرون إلى عوراتهم.
They then follow and try to seek out the faults for others, and they are not aware of their own faults.
ويرى الذباب على رأس الإنسان والذرة ولا يرى الحية والعقرب تدبره.
And they are able to notice a fly and an atom on the nose of another person, but they do not see the snakes and scorpions that are harming them.
الذي يحبه الله يجعله يعرف عيوب نفسه أكثر من عيوب الناس. ما الفائدة من معرفة عيوب الناس؟
And the one whom Allah loves, this person becomes aware of their own faults, and they don't even pay attention to the faults of others. What is the benefit in following up on people's faults?
إذا كشف الله لك عيب إنسان أو عورة إنسان أو قلة أدب إنسان ابكي على نفسك فإن هذه مصيبة جاءت إليك.
If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exposes to you the fault of someone or something of their privacy or something of their bad character, then you should cry because this is a calamity that has befallen you.
كانوا يبكون إذا عرفوا عيوب أحد.
The pious used to cry if they became aware of the faults of anyone else.
ويعتقدون في نفوسهم أنهم ما دلهم الله على عيوب فلان وفلان وفلان إلا أنه ما يحبهم حتى يريدهم يسيئوا الظن ويريدهم يتكبروا ويريدهم صعب بعد ذلك إزالة هذه القصة.
And they would believe that Allah did not make them aware of this person's faults, except that Allah did not love them, because this would mean that they would have a bad opinion of this person and become proud and arrogant over this person.
ولذلك من ستر مسلما ستره الله.
For this reason, whoever conceals the faults of a fellow believer, Allah will conceal their faults.
يعني رأيت مسلم على عيب.
You see a fault in a fellow believer.
مسلم على ذنب على معصية يقين أنت رأيته ما سمعت.
You see them with your own eyes committing a certain sin.
وسترته.
And you conceal them.
وكأنك لم ترى.
As though you haven't even seen.
وكأنك لم تسمع.
Even as though you haven't even heard them.
الله يسترك الله في الدنيا والآخرة.
Allah will then conceal you in this world and the hereafter.
لكنه صعب.
But this is very difficult.
ولذلك من شدة أن الله يريدنا أن نستر بعضنا بعضا جعل الشهادة والعياذ بالله على الزنا 4.
The extent to which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to conceal each other's faults is exemplified in the punishment for zina, in that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it obligatory that there are 4 witnesses.
حتى لو رأى واحد واجب عليه يستر أو يجلد. لو رأوا 2 واجب عليه يستر أو يجلد. ورأوا 3 واجب عليهم يستروا أو يجلدوا.
If one person sees 2 people committing zina, it is obligatory upon him to conceal their fault. If he speaks, the Sharia then says that it is obligatory for this person to be lashed. If 2 people see them, it is obligatory for them to conceal the fault. If they speak, they are lashed. If 3 people see them, they still have to conceal them. If they speak, they will be lashed until 4 people see them.
ولكن التخلق بهذه الأخلاق يحتاج إلى تدريب عظيم العالية منها.
And however, achieving and
السيئة ويخليك بالأخلاق ويعينك على التخلق الخالق.
achieving and imbibing oneself with good character and getting rid of evil character requires a very great experienced doctor.
فكيف تعرف عيوب نفسك؟
What is the way to become aware of your own faults?
لمعرفتها 4 طرق.
There are 4 ways.
الأول أن تجد بين يدي شيخ بسيط مطلع على خفايا الآفات يحكمه في نفسه يكتب إشارته وقد عز بهذا الزمان وهذا يوم وذلك إله الله في القرن الخامس.
The first is for someone to sit before a sheikh of insight who can access the soul's hidden defects and to grant him authority over his soul and follow his instruction. Ghazali that says in this age such a man is ready to be found. Habib says Ghazali is mentioning this in his age.
ولكن الحمد لله إن شاء الله نقول نحن عندنا حسن ظن في الله وحسن ظن في مشايخنا أنهم موجودين والحمد لله.
However, we have a good hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we have a good opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that such doctors do exist in our presence.
الحمد لله الذي رمى بناء عندهم ولم يرمي البناء عند غيره.
All praise are due to Allah who brought us to their feet and did not take us to the feet of others besides them.
وإذا الإنسان ضعيف له استحسانات يستحسن حتى السيء والعياذ بالله.
Otherwise, a human being is very weak. He can find things to be good even though they might be evil.
فترى أنت تستحسن شيء وهم كثير ما يستحسنون. لا إله إلا الله. ولو شاء الله لجعلك مثلهم.
Many times you find yourself liking something, but your own parents or your mother might dislike them. And if Allah wanted, He could have made you like them.
فحمد الله تعالى أن جعلك ممن يحسن الظن ونجاك الله من أهل سوء الظن.
And so praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has made you of people given to having a good opinion of others and has not made you of those who have bad opinion of others.
ولذلك يحافظ الإنسان على اعتقاداته.
And so a person should be wary about their beliefs
في الحج سبحانه وتعالى.
with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
في رسوله.
with regards to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
وفي المشايخ بالخصوص.
and especially towards their teachers and the mashayikh,
وفي المسلمين.
and generally then towards all the believers.
حتى لو ابتليت بأحد يجعلك تسيء الظن بهذا أو بهذا هذه مصيبة شيطان كبير هذا في صورة إنسان فاحذر منه وهرب.
Such that if a person then comes to you and makes you aware of another person's faults and wants you to have a bad opinion about them, then you should be wary of this person who has brought you this information.
فلا خير في من يجعلك تسيء الظن في غيرك.
There is no good in anyone who makes you have a bad opinion of others.
لا خير في من يجعلك تسيء الظن في غير نفسك. أما يجعلك تسيء الظن بنفسك تمام.
There is no evil in anyone who wants you to have a bad opinion in others besides yourself. However, someone who makes you aware of your faults and causes you to have a bad opinion about your own self, then this is a good person.
هذا شيطان في صورة إنسان.
And so these people who make you have a bad opinion of others, this is a shaitan in the form of a human being.
أولا يجعلك تسيء الظن بهذا.
First makes you have a bad opinion about this one,
ثم بهذا.
then of this one,
ثم بالشيخ الفلاني.
then of a particular scholar,
بالشيخ الفلاني.
then of a different scholar,
ثم بالصحابة.
then of the Sahaba,
ثم بالنبي.
then of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
ثم بالحق سبحانه.
and then of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself.
هذه الطريق واضحة جدا.
This is an open plain path of a methodology of shaitan.
إن لم تقطعها توصلك إلى ذلك.
So if you don't cut it off right now, you're going to reach that destination sooner or later.
ولكن احذر من البداية.
Therefore, be wary of it from the beginning.
هذا مرض وزرع.
This is a disease which has reached.
بسرعة عالجه.
You need to cure it quickly.
أما إذا استفحل صعب العلاج.
However, if it continues, then the cure will be very difficult.
مثال ذلك لو عندك مسمار يقولوا ضربته في دار ضربة ضربتين ممكن تنزعه لكن بعد 20 ضربة يصير لأنه بيتفجر يروح الجدار مصيبة.
The likeness of that is like a nail which
Pure person then is a divine gaze to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or be able to.
And
طيب إذا ما وجدت الشيء الذي ترمي نفسك أمامه بمثله ماذا تعمل؟
If a person then is not able to find a sheikh and is not able to find someone to make them aware of it, what should they do?
صديقا
Sometimes it's seek a big
صدوقا
friend,
بصيرا متدينا
truthful, perceptive, religious friend.
إذا حضرت في الأحوال كنا بقدر المجتمع
Who is able to notice you in all of your affairs.
أي شيء يرى فيه
Ask him to make you aware of anything at all which he sees in you which is not good.
يعني الإنسان غالبا ما يرى نفسه أبدا إلا بغيره أو بغيره.
This is because a person is never able to see themselves except through other people or through a mirror.
لذلك قال حفظ المؤمن مرآة.
For this reason, the Prophet ﷺ said that a believer is a mirror to another believer.
فافرح بما ينبه.
So be happy when people make you aware of your faults.
افرح بمن ينصح.
Be happy when people advise you.
ما هو استقبل افرح.
Don't be proud and arrogant. Be happy.
عدم الفرح مصيبة.
Not being happy when someone advises you is a problem.
كما ذكرنا لكم في الجلسة الماضية لما يقول عدم الفرح بالنصيحة عدم الفرح دليل على وجود قرآن وبقاء القرآن.
As we mentioned in the previous lesson, Habib Umar had said that not being happy at someone advising you is a sign of pollution of the heart.
في من الناس من يقبل النصيحة.
There are some people who accept advice.
هذا ضعيف.
This is a weak person.
والثاني يقبل ويعمل بالنصيحة.
Another person accepts advice and
لا يزال ضعيف.
practices upon this advice. This person is still weak.
لكن يحسن الاستقبال وعمل يوفق.
However, the third person, he accepts the advice, he acts upon it, and is also happy at receiving the advice.
دلل على وجود الفرح بشيء. صار نفسك بالدليل. ما تدل أنني فرحت بهذه النصيحة.
What is the sign that you have become happy with this advice?
ادعو السكون.
That you make dua for this person in your sajda.
اثني عليه خيرا وامدحه أمام الناس.
You praise this person with goodness in front of people.
تعطه هدية.
Give them a gift.
أكرمه.
Honor them.
افرح بمن يذكره بالخير.
Be happy when others mention them with goodness.
انتبه تصدق نفسك أنك تحبه.
Be wary that you think you are happy of receiving advice from such a person until you've tested yourself with these conditions.
فكثير من الناس يقول فلان يقول والله أحبه والله أقسم بالله. لكن بعدين كتابه يسمع غيبة عنه يسكت.
So many people, you ask them, do you love so and so? They say, of course I love him. And they might even take it off by Allah, I love him. However, they backbite the person. If they hear others backbiting this person, they keep quiet in front of him.
يتكلم على فلان يفرح أو يسكت ما يعرف ما تحبه أقل يزعلهم فارق المجلس الذي يمكن صاحبك فيه بسوء.
If you love someone and you are in a gathering and people are backbiting the person, if you remain quiet or you are happy to hear what is being said, then this is a sign you do not love this person. The least you should do is stand up and leave the gathering in which someone you love is being mentioned in a non-appropriate way.
سيدنا عمر يقول رحمه الله امرأة أهدى إلي عيوبي.
Sayyidina Umar used to say, may Allah have mercy on the one who gifts my faults to you.
سيدنا سلمان يقول لما قدم عليه ما الذي بلغك عني مما تكرهه؟ أخبرني. سيدنا عمر يقول سيدنا سلمان أمير المؤمنين يقول
When Sayyidina Umar met Salman al-Farsi, the first thing he asked him was, what has reached you of my faults?
فاستعفى.
And so Sayyidina
يعني
Salman
اعتذر.
excused himself.
فألح عليه.
And Sayyidina Umar then impressed upon him.
وهذه من طبيعة الإنسان.
This is the natural disposition of a human being.
يا إنسان لو سمحت لي ما الذي يبلغني عنه؟ هذا في بالك لا لا أعفني يا حبيبي. وعنده موجود فيه. لكن قال عفوا. لكن لما نتكلم على لا أعترف. عفوا والله ما كل شيء تمام. لا خلي كل شيء تمام. فأعطني عيوبي. تكلم عليه بكثرة. أما بس أعطني عيوبي. ما في عندي شيء. عشان أذاكر الخير. أعطني عيوبي. لا أنت تمام الحمد لله. فلو بتتكلم عليه بدأ ما عنده.
Let's give an example. He says if you go to someone and you tell them, listen please, I want you to make me aware of my faults. He says naturally this person will say, no, please don't ask me. And he'll excuse himself. You need to ask the second time. The person might then also excuse himself and say, listen please don't trouble me, don't ask me about this. However, if you continue to ask this person the third and fourth time, then only they might then mention certain things because of you impressing upon them. However, if you ask a person the first time and you say, please tell me something about my faults, and they say no. The second time you ask them and they say, no, everything is okay. And you say, okay, alhamdulillah, I don't have any faults. This is a big problem.
كلف سيدنا عمر على سيدنا سلمان لازم يخبرني ما الذي بلغك عنه.
Sayyidina Umar impressed upon Sayyidina Sulman that tell me what has reached you about me.
كلف عليه أخبر.
بما
بلغه عنه ما سمع.
And so when Sayyidina Umar impressed and continuously impressed upon him, Sayyidina Sulman then mentioned to him what he had heard about Sayyidina Umar.
ولا تقول واحد يكلمك كلمني عفوا أظني لا لازم عفوا أظني لازم طيب سمعت كذا من اللي كان كذاب هذا يفتن يريد يقول فلان أجل لا أريد أغضب عليه أريد أخاصمه أريد أحسب.
Another example is you go to someone and you tell them, please tell me my faults. He says, you know, say, listen, please, you have to make me aware of my faults. What have you heard people speak about me? And this person excuses himself. The third time you say, listen, please tell me what is it that people say about me? And so he said, listen, they say this and that about you. Then you say, who said that? And you say, this is not sincere. Now you want to know who is speaking about you, so you can then have envy and jealousy against them and become angry with them, and maybe want to even go and dispute with them.
فمن أخبرك بعيب وإن لم يكن فيك استحسن الاستقبال ثم إن كان فيك انتبه وإن لم يكن فيك لا تسأل من بال لك من.
So if anyone informs you of any fault of yours, be happy that you have received that piece of advice and accept it with an open heart, irrespective of whether that fault is in you or not. If that fault is in you, then be wary and correct yourself. If that fault is not in you, then you do not have to be concerned about it, but there is no point in going around and asking who said it.
فقال له سيدنا سلمان إذا كان كذلك فقد بلغني أنك جمعت بين إدامين على مائدة.
And so Sayyidina Sulman told him, if that's the case, I have no option except to tell you what I heard about you. I have heard that you join in your meals two types of condiments. And that you have two outer garments that you wear, one in the day and one during the night. Sayyidina Umar told him, has anything else reached you about me? Sayyidina Sulman said, no. Sayyidina Umar then told him, these two threats from now I will suffice in leaving them.
كان لا يلبس إلا حلة مدة أيام وكان لا يجمع على المائدة إدامين أبدا.
So Sayyidina Umar would then wear one outer garment for many days, and he never then after joined two types of condiments in one meal.
وكان يسأل سيدنا حذيفة.
And he also used to ask Sayyidina Hudayfa,
أنت صاحب سر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
He used to say, you are the keeper of the secrets of the Prophet
خصوصا في معرفة المنافقين.
Especially with regards to the knowledge of who are the hypocrites.
فهل ترى في علامة من علاماتهم أو أخبرني.
Do you see in me a sign of the hypocrites? I want you to tell me.
هكذا كان سيدنا عمر وهو من المبشرين.
This was the way of Sayyidina Umar, even though he was given glad tidings of paradise.
هذا التواضع.
What type of humility is this?
ما هذا الخلق الإحسان.
What type of good character is this?
ما هذا اتهام النفس.
How amazing is it, this accusing of himself? This is the character of the Prophet.
ما خلقنا بأخلاق.
Allah grant us the character of the Prophet.
وأهلنا وأولادنا وأصحابنا.
Yeah, Questions, while suppressing natural emotions, only this can make a person resentful, mentally unstable. Please define suppression.
غالبا كان نفسي أدي هذا إذا كان غيرك يظهر
Habib says if a person suppresses their own ego, then this generally won't be the case. However, if someone else is suppressing ego, forcing you to do certain things, then this will lead to some sort of mental Then also, in regards to suppressing one's ego, it doesn't happen all at once. One needs to be gradually doing that. So, for example, the person sleeps 8 hours every night. And so he wants to overpower his sleep. And so the next day he wants to sleep only 4 hours. This obviously is going to affect the person's body, is going to affect the mental state. However, if a person does it gradually, it won't affect. What is your habit? 8 hours? Okay, so for the next month, sleep for only 7.5 hours. And then after the next month, 7 hours. And then gradually, your body will become accustomed, it will not be affected in any way. However, if you just suddenly want to overpower your ego, your habits in a very big way, definitely a person will then be affected physically and mentally. How do we understand certain undesirable traits that we should strive to control within ourselves? It appears in the pious and the saints. For example, Sayyidina Aisha has jealousy. Is it a bad trait or is it different? Habib says this is, as we have mentioned, this is the natural human disposition. And no one is free from succumbing to it except the prophets and the angels.
وإنما الإنسان إذا برز منه ذلك لا يأثم به إلا إذا نفذه.
And when this manifests in a person, he is not sinful until he acts upon that evil trait.
يقولوا بعض ليس العيب أن يغلط الإنسان، العيب إنه ما يرجع، العيب إنه ما يندم، العيب إنه ما يستعرض. المفروض الغلط من الإنسان وكلكم خطاؤون.
So the pious would say it is not a bad thing that a person commits a certain bad deed, but the issue is if you don't repent and don't feel remorseful and don't return. As the hadith says that all human beings are sinners, but the best of sinners are those who repent.
فإذا ظهر منك مثلا حسد على أحد يوم من الأيام ما قال رميت كلمة يا الله فما عليك إلا أن تبكي وتستغفر بالذنوب وتستغفر. لكن لا.
And so if a person finds themselves having, for example, jealousy or envy against someone, and this leads them to speak ill about the person or to treat them in an amicable manner, then a person needs to cry, feel remorseful, regret, seek forgiveness from this person, and then ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him. This is the correct way. However, the person continues to go day by day and he has this jealousy in his heart for this person, this is a bad.
ولذلك يقول عليه الصلاة والسلام كأنه إذا عندك عبد أو مملوك أو أحد من أولادك وغلط عليك سامحه ولو في اليوم 70 مرة. يغلط ويطلب العفو سامحه، يغلط بتوع يسامحه لا.
For this reason, the Prophet ﷺ said that if you have a servant or someone in your care and they abuse you or they do something wrong, then you should forgive this person in 70 times in a day. You do something wrong, you should forgive them. They do something wrong the second time, you have to forgive them up to 70 times in a day. So the question is, do you regret, are you remorseful, and do you seek the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The question is, how does one build tolerance for the nafs of women manifesting in the da'wah field? And he says it's the same for men and women. Men and women are the same. only natural for some bad qualities of the quality of Allah to manifest.
أين صبر؟
But where's your patience?
أين عفو؟
Where's your overlooking?
أين مغفرة؟
Where's your forgiving them?
أين تغافل؟
Where's your trying to overlook their faults?
تتغافل.
You have to try to purposefully just turn a blind eye.
بينك وبين أولادك وزوجتك وزوجها والأولاد وأبوهم والأبوة منهم الأباء إذا ما بعض الأشياء تغافل عنك كأنك مكتوب.
Even in your relationship with your wife, between husband and wife, parents and children, your in-laws, you have to turn a blind eye to certain things, otherwise you will tire yourself out.
أشياء تحتاج التغافل.
Many things require us just to turn a blind
وأشياء
eye.
تحتاج الستر.
And many things require us to conceal.
وأشياء تحتاج العفو والعفو.
And some things require forgiveness and overlooking of.
ما يكون الإنسان عفو إلا إن أساء إلى أحد وعفو عنه. كيف يكون عفو؟
A person cannot be forgiving except if someone had wronged them and then they forgive this person.
وهكذا في كثير من الصفات لابد من ضدها تأتي إليه وتقابلها.
And so many of the good qualities, they only manifest if their opposites come towards you. It's only when the opposites are presented to you that the good characters, the characteristic traits are able to manifest.
والخلاصة تتبع آداب النبي وأخلاق النبي وتخلق بها تسلم في الدنيا والآخرة.
And so the summary is follow the characters, seek to study the character of the Prophet ﷺ and to become imbibed with the character of the Prophet ﷺ and you will achieve salvation in this world and the hereafter.
أنت وتفرح من حواليك.
You will achieve felicity and you will allow those around you to be happy.
إلا أهل الحسد فلا يفرحون أبدا فدعهم.
Except people of jealousy and envy, they will never be happy. Leave them.
نسأل الله يحفظنا وإياكم من الحسد.
We ask Allah to protect us and move from hasad
ومن سوء الأخلاق.
and from bad character.
اجعلنا برتين سيدنا محمد في الدنيا والآخرة الله رب
And to make us the fullness of the eyes of the Prophet ﷺ in this world and the hereafter. Allah